Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today. My name is Jessica Hopkins, and I am the Director of Learning and Development for the YWCA USA. And today is our final support session for Tech Girls. So I'm excited that you're all here, and we are going to get things kicked off. And so before Dr. Singh starts with us today, I'm just going to go over some things. All right, so last time we had some questions that we wanted to make sure that we addressed before we got started today. So one of the first questions was, hey, can we get started? Like, we're really excited. We want to get going. Like, let's keep it moving. And so we really want to finish up the training today and then make sure that everything that's in the curriculum in the facilitator space is there and ready for you. And so on January 1st of 2026, that will be ready in the facilitator space, and any updates that we might need to do to the curriculum, most likely just design little things. We'll make sure that all of that is up and ready then. So check back. We will definitely put something in the forum when it's all ready. And then I will also send out an email once that's ready. All right, another question. Hey, we're writing a grant. Where is the data to help us support the mission and the design of Tech Girls? So Shannon did send an email with all of Dr. Rende's research after the last meeting. If you did not receive that email by chance, you can find the research in the facilitator space. It's under the Resource Center. And it is labeled Dr. Rende's research. You can easily find it there. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to email myself or email Shannon, and we will get an answer for you. All right, the next thing was, are there any videos? We don't have any videos yet. We're just starting. And so what we really are going to be asking is that any associations that are implementing this spring, that if you can take pictures, if you can take video, we're going to ask for you to put those in the forum and just share with each other. But then that will also share with USA to help us with promotion and with marketing and just be able to get things out there. So sorry about that. So as you are kind of going along, if you could just take pictures and feel free to upload those at any point in the forum. All right, another question that came up was, I can't find everything. Where are all of the things that I'm looking for? This doesn't seem complete in some places. So one pro tip that we just want to provide for you is that as you're reviewing that material, make sure you're looking in all of the different spaces. So you want to make sure you have your facilitator guide open. You want to make sure you have your participant workbook open. And then also the curriculum open, all at the same time. That will help you see where everything really intersects and how they go together. And then also don't forget the resource center in the curriculum and the resource center that is in the facilitator guide. They're going to have additional things that you can do, additional activities, different supplements, all of those things. So I know Dr. Singh is going to go over some of that today, show a little bit of that, but we wanted to make sure that we give you that reminder. All right, so before we get started, a couple housekeeping things as always. If you're not speaking, if you could just keep yourself muted. And then as always, we would love to see your faces. So if you're able to come off, if you're able to have your camera on, we would love to see you. And then also, if you have any questions, we ask that you put them in the Q&A so that we can document those and then we can create another FAQ later. If you don't see Q&A at the bottom, on your navigation tabs. If you just click the three dots, it should be in there for you. So again, if you could put any questions that you might have for about the curriculum, about next steps, about anything doing with Tech Girls, you can put those in the Q&A. If we don't have an answer for you right away, we will get an answer for you. All right, and with that, I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Singh and let her get started.
Well, muchas gracias. Let's see, you guys can hear me okay? Because my microphone was conking out just a second ago. Right?
No.
All right, well, welcome everyone. So this is our last session together. We made it to part 3 of our this is what the orientation and the walkthrough, the launch of Tech Girls. And I'm so excited that we've gotten to this point. And here is what our session looks like for today. So we've already done the opening. We'll do an icebreaker. We'll walk through module 3, which is the STEM Trailblazers module. We'll also walk through module 4, which is the Navigators module. And we'll do a breakout room confidence check and conversation. We'll take a look at the resource hub and the facilitator space so that you can see what's inside of them and also how to best navigate them. And then we're going to spend some time processing all of the things, and then we'll close with our Q&A and our survey. And so that's what our time looks like today as we explore these final 2 modules. So let's do an innovation conversation starter. So we're going to do a little warm up together, something simple, something fun, and a little bit reflective. So if there were a new device, an app, or an invention that could make your own life simpler, make your life less stressed, and make your life even more joyful, what would that thing do? What would you create and what would it do? So you can use that sentence frame that you see right there at the bottom of the screen that says, I'd create a blank that blank. What would you create and what would it do? Off the top of my head, I would say that I would create some kind of laundry robot that folds the clothes. Just folds them. I'll put them away if they're folded. I just don't want to fold them. I could wash them. I'll put them in the dryer. I just don't want to fold them. Folding them and ironing them. Those 2 things. I just want that. That would make my life so much easier. So what would that be for you? What invention do you desire? A mind reader that can do what needs to be done. Oh, yes, without having to tell it. Yes, I love that. Something that automatically washes the clothes and the dishes at the same time. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, I love it. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing in the chat. And for those of you who are still thinking, you can still add to the chat. Ironing was created by men to keep women subservient to them. Huh. Well, I don't iron. My husband irons. I told him, I'm like, that's the thing that I just don't want to do. I'll cook, but I'm not doing no ironing. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, thank you all again for sharing. But what we're doing now is it's what the girls are going to do in module 3 when they step into their roles as innovators and even as designers. And then in module 4, when they take that same imagination and then they use it to shape a future, a future tool or future prototype. And they also map their career pathways. So thank you for setting the tone for what we're going to explore today in our session. So let's see what's next. We are going to jump right into module 3, STEM Trailblazers. So this module is all about helping the girls imagine what's possible. And it's also helping them to see themselves as innovators who can really shape the future. So we are guiding the girls to dream boldly. We're guiding them to explore emerging technologies and even to use design thinking to turn their ideas into something that's actually real. And so we compare technology across generations, we invent, we sketch, we build, we prepare for this TikTok Future Expo capstone that the girls are going to lead up to. But this is where the girls begin to believe that I can really build something and I could design something that can solve a real problem. This is all about imagination and innovation. And it also helps to build the confidence toward module 4. So before we take a deep dive into the lessons, module 3 want to give you what the outcomes look like, those practical concrete outcomes of what the girls will accomplish. So this module moves through a progression, a very intentional progression. So the girls are um, they're going through innovation and imagination and design thinking and with that emerging technology. So they are seeing themselves as, innovators of the future. They're not just consuming the technology, but they are also creators with the technology. So the innovation part is where they're gonna compare how everyday tech has changed across generations. So they're gonna notice shifts and patterns and the way people have used creativity to solve problems with tech that has existed for generations. And then in the for the imagination piece, again, they're gonna be really bold in their thinking. They're going to look for solutions for challenges that are close to home. So challenges that, in their lives and in their communities, even in their homes. And they're going to design tools, new tools and products and systems, or whatever that looks like for them to be a solution for those problems that they identify. And then the design thinking piece through emerging tech, this is where they're bringing all of those things. They're bringing all of those ideas to life. They're sketching, they're prototyping, they're doing mock-ups, and they're even using AI tools and AI visuals to invent and discuss and explain how their invention works, why it matters, and who it helps. And so by the end of module 3, as you can see there on the screen, they're going to be able to be confident in saying, I can design something that solves a problem that I care about. So that's what module 3 is all about. The 5 lessons that live in module 3 is what you see here. So lesson 1 is about imagining tomorrow. They're going to, again, compare how technology has progressed across generations. And then they're going to think about what they could design next. In lesson number 2, they're going to identify a problem that matters to them, and they're going to brainstorm invention ideas. And then in lesson number 3, they're going to create something. They're going to bring something to life. And they're going to do that through the sketches and the prototypes and the mock-ups. And in lesson number 4, this is where they are looking at the influence of a STEM shiro. And for the STEM shiro, they are going to explore Dr. Hadia Nicole Green. And then in lesson number 5, this is their capstone. Everything has led up to this. This is their TikTok Future Expo showcase. And we'll talk more about that in a bit. So a closer look within the lessons and what the girls actually accomplish. So in lesson number 1, they're going to compare. They're going to question. They're going to imagine technology across times. In lesson number 2, they are going to identify real challenges and they're going to imagine what the solutions could be for that. In lesson number 3, this is, again, they're going to design this prototype using tools from the creation station or tools that are within their classrooms. In lesson number 4, again, this is about them being inspired by Dr. Hadia Nicole Green, and they're going to be able to see how she positions herself as a trailblazer and an innovator in her field, and how she uses smart tech to solve real life problems that have affected her life and her family. Lesson number 5, again, this is that capstone where everything leads up to this. They are preparing for that TikTok Future Expo. So each lesson is building intentionally toward the goal, toward the girls being able to say that I can build something that solves a real problem. So I want to remind you of the flow, the flow of each lesson. So we have 5 lessons, but within each lesson, we have those 5 activities. And they have that rhythm and that flow where every lesson has the spark and sketch where the girls are brainstorming. They have the explore and discover where they're learning something new. They're creating and building where they're actually designing something. They're reflecting and growing where they take time to process and really think about how how their learning impacts them. And then they celebrate and shine, because we always got to celebrate the big and the small wins. And so this is what I told you all last time, that I was going to come up with some kind of name, because every time I talk about this rhythm and this flow of the 5 lessons, it makes me feel like this should have like a name, like a dance. So I've come up with the Tech Girl Shuffle, like the Cupid Shuffle. So this is the Tech Girl Shuffle, right? Spark and sketch, explore and discover, create and build, reflect and grow, and celebrate and shine. So that it's going to be known as the Tech Girl Shuffle. All right, so we see that across each lesson. Now, in module 3, the girls are creating artifacts for each lesson. And all of these artifacts, they're going to feed into the capstone. So the first one in lesson 1, they're creating a future focused prototype. So a sketch or a mock-up or a digital image of what they want this invention to be. So it's kind of like that first spark as they start discovering what, how things have changed over time with technology. And lesson number 2, they're building a NASA design plan. So they're actually using NASA's engineering process to help refine their ideas. And they're also connecting it to emerging technologies like AR, VR, and AI. And then in lesson number 3, then they are doing a smart tech remix. So they're upgrading their version of what their original prototype is. And they're incorporating smart tech features in it so that it's very future focused. And in lesson number 4, they do a STEM story spotlight, kind of like a narrative that has them combining and comparing identity and purpose and the story, the real life story behind innovation. And then in lesson number 5, that's their TikTok Future Expo showcase. So that's their mini video series that is all about what their invention or prototype or solution is. So every artifact is ultimately a building block toward the capstone. And so let's talk about the capstone. So again, the capstone in module 3 is where everything comes together for the girls. So this is their STEM Future Expo. So for them, it's about their imagination and their innovation and their creativity, as well as their confidence. So they are going to take what they've built across all the modules, those artifacts that we just talked about, and they're going to turn it into a short, high energy TikTok style innovation showcase. So the goal for this is pretty simple. They're going to get to be designers and storytellers in a way that they probably are already used to, creating videos, right? Using the technology that they're probably sitting on all day. And so they are going to talk about their invention. They're going to explain how it works. They're going to talk about who it helps and highlight what inspired them to create it. And they're going to do this in mini videos, about 5 mini videos as they go through and explain each part. And again, this capstone is giving them a chance to really stand in their brilliance. And they say they are going to be able to say, I created something that matters. I created something that is that could be a real solution to a real problem, right? My ideas can really change the world. And so they don't worry, they are going to get planning guides and all of these things to help them map out how they're going to structure these 5 TikTok style videos. And all of that is in the facilitator guide and the workbook. You don't have to come up with anything. It's all done in there for you. So after they have done their showcase and They've gotten, all of the praise. They also earn their badges. So there are 5 badges because there's a badge per lesson, and so they'll get to collect these badges within Mighty Networks. And again, these badges are, they mark the milestone for the girls because it helps them to celebrate, and they get a visual of them, them actually completing the lessons within this program. And so as we are looking at the materials that I've just mentioned, you have a lot of support, right? You have your curriculum that's on Mighty Networks. That's student facing, so that's girl facing. That's for the girls. It walks them through it, but believe me, everything on that curriculum matches their workbook, matches your facilitator guide. There's a through line between all of it. So the curriculum is, I would consider that like your home base. So that's, you're going to have the girls' curriculum there, but you're also going to have your facilitator space on Mighty Networks, which we'll talk about later. Okay. Then the students, the girls, have their own workbook. So again, this is their space to do all of the things. They can sketch, they can write, they can reflect, they can doodle, whatever they want to do. It is going to line up with the curriculum that's on Mighty Networks. Every activity is going to live in that workbook. So the girls need access to it. They have access to it as a PDF right there in Mighty Networks, where they can download their own copy that they can edit and keep for the whole module. They would have to save their own copy though and be able to access it every class. Because remember, when you download a PDF and you make changes, you have to save it. It becomes like your own sheet of paper. So basically, they are getting their own book and they have to keep it and remember where they saved it. Because every time they download a new copy, it's just a blank copy. So you want to remind them to download the one copy and save it on a flash drive, or save it in their Google Drive or their OneDrive or their Dropbox or wherever their stuff lives. And they will access that for the whole module because the workbook is module based. It's about 50, 60 pages of content for the entire module. Okay. And this question did come up. Sure, if you would like to print it and print it by, maybe you're working on certain lessons or certain activities, you can absolutely do that too. You have access to print it as well. So it's totally up to what you are doing in your site, what's best for you and what's best for your girls. There is the option to use the digital copy, and then there is the option to print copies if you would like. So I just wanted to make sure I called that out for the workbooks for the girls. And then you have your facilitator guide as the facilitator. So that pretty much is your roadmap. This is what gives you the structure. This is what gives you the language. This is what gives you the tips to make each lesson come to life, so that you don't have to be the expert here. You don't have to be the guru. You're just the guide. Everything you need is in that facilitator guide. So these 3 pieces: Mighty Networks, student workbook, facilitator guide, that is going to be your lifeline in this program ultimately. Okay, it's going to set you up for success, and it's also going to set the girls up for success as well. So let's take a look at how the student workbook and the facilitator guide work together. So again, what you're seeing here, because I showed this the last time, what you're seeing here is on the right-hand side is the student workbook. So this is a straight screenshot from the student workbook, and you can see how they have steps to complete, and they have spaces to mark up in the workbook. And then when you look on the left-hand side to the facilitator guide, you're going to see that those same steps line up. So every student activity has a matching set of facilitator uh, guidelines or directions for you. So this alignment is very intentional. It really is designed so that it takes the pressure off of you and it makes facilitating feel predictable and it makes it feel simple. And it helps you to feel confident that you have everything you need to guide the girls through each step of the activities, of the lesson, of the module. So you're not reinventing anything unless you want to. We're all about innovation, but you don't have to. You're guiding, you're supporting, and you're creating a space for the girls to just shine in their brilliance and participate and be present and do this work using the materials that you have. So step one, you can see step one, same title. It tells you what to say. It tells you the actions to take with the girls. And you are going to see this flow throughout the facilitator guide for all of the activities and all of the lessons of the whole entire module. And just so you can see the table of contents for the facilitator guide, I put this here so you can see how organized and again, intentional the structure is. Each lesson is laid out the exact same way that the activities are in the workbook. So in your facilitator guide, you're going to have a guide for everything down to how you introduce the badge to your students, to the girls. So all of this is going to be present for all 5 lessons in the module, in addition to some other stuff too. So again, we have the what is it? The Tech Girls Shuffle. That rhythm, that same rhythm, it's there. It's very intentional. It's very predictable. So you can just guide and feel confident in guiding the girls. All right, so now I want to show you what the capstone looks like inside of your facilitator guide, because sure, you have your lessons, but you also have some direction for your capstone. So we're going to look at the example from module 3 because that's the TikTok Innovation Showcase. So what you're seeing here are screenshots to give you a sense of how fully supported you are when it's time to bring that capstone together. So you have the capstone implementation steps. It tells you how to frame the activity. It gives you the steps to plan it, to, you know, even down to what the room could look like if you have a low-tech option, if you have a high-tech option, what materials you might need. It if how you can open and welcome what to say with the capstone, and what the presentation structure can look like. And then you even have some tips here as well for the event flow. Maybe you want to do a gallery walk and or a live viewing or an interactive stations. I'm giving you some options here. You don't have to be stuck with doing one thing. All right, so you have all of those things, so you're not starting from scratch. The steps are there, it's broken down, the language is there. It's there to support you. Everything you need from setup to support to even celebration, it's all there. It's all built for you within that facilitator guide. Okay, so now what you're looking at next, another screenshot of the facilitator guide. This one I'm really happy about because this is something that initially wasn't even going to be in the facilitator guide, but these were questions that came up almost every session. And so we've built in adaptations for flexible facilitation, because every lesson in the facilitator guide will have 3 types of support that you can use to adapt the program. So remember that TechGYRLS is designed for girls ages 10 through 12, and that can look different across associations because you all have different age groups and different numbers and all of those things. And so this is here for you to be able to adapt it for your younger elementary age girls to your older middle and high school age girls. So you have age band recommendations, materials check, if you have low tech or if you have digital, and then you even have some pacing recommendations because some programs might have a longer structure than others. And so these recommendations are offered to you. So again, that you're not starting from scratch and trying to figure everything out on your own. And so you see the recommendations are there for all of the lessons within that module. Okay. So flexibility, you making it feel doable, all of that is why we included that there. All right. And then we end the module with the community question because we want the girls to really have meaningful conversations with each other. And these questions are designed to build that connection and to spark that curiosity and help the girls hear each other's ideas. And it's a way for them, again, to connect with the associations across the nation and not just within their own group. So you would encourage the girls to respond to the community question after they have completed the module. And don't worry, there's steps for that too. So in your facilitation guide, there's some steps to help you facilitate this. So how you can set the stage and how you can, read the question, display it, ask them to think about certain things related to the prompt and give them time to jot down their ideas in their student workbook because there's space in their workbook for them to jot down their ideas before they actually post their response to the forum, to the community connect within Mighty Networks, which is where the conversations will happen. Okay, so I'm going to stop. That's module 3. I want you to take a moment, please. I'm inviting you to take a look at this question here. Now that we have reviewed module 3, what part of the innovation journey do you feel most excited or most prepared to guide with your girls? And if you want to tell us why, go ahead and do so. So I'm going to give you a minute or so to think about what we've talked about with what module 3 is covering, and you let me know how you feel. How do you feel? What do you feel most excited about with this innovation that's part of module 3? Jessica, I see your question, your comment, the things that to share in the forum. What
Yeah.
did you mean by?
Yes, really just talking about the TikTok videos. And
Oh
just being able
yes.
to see what everyone's doing at different local associations or highlighting one or two, I think would be a great way to share that with the rest of the network and
Mm-hmm.
to also just be able to share it out in general. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yes, I totally agree. Yes, let the girls shine. Share the shine with us. Absolutely. All right. Heather is excited about the ways to ramp up or ramp down for different ages. Awesome. TikTok videos. Ooh, it's going a little fast. Yes, the kids really enjoy making those. Yes, listen, I have a TikTok account, but only because my daughter sends me TikToks. I had to create an account just because she sends me TikToks. Like I'm not even on there. I'm only on there when I'm looking at a video that she sends me. I need to do better, but TikTok is just not for me. It's not in my age range. Hmm. Yes, using TikTok for good. Exactly. Desiree is excited about all of it. Yes. I'm excited about seeing their TikToks because I know that they are very skilled at it. Very skilled at it. So yes, I'm excited about that too. All right. Well, thank you all for sharing in the chat. We're gonna move right on in now to our final module. And module 4 is the STEM Navigators module. So this is all about helping the girls to see, to imagine, to visualize who they can become in STEM and really be confident in that and actually chart a path toward that future in STEM that they are dreaming of. So in this module, they get to explore careers. They get to even build a personal brand. Uh, they get clarity on what matters to them in STEM and what they can do and really who they want to be. And so there's several pieces that are in this module. There are quizzes, future ready DNA quizzes. They get to learn from the story of Dr. Sabrina Gonzalez Pasterski. They bring it all together in their Compass Summit capstone at the very end. And this module for them is really about just possibility, their possibilities in STEM, their future in STEM. So the outcomes for module 4, career exploration, personal branding, and their future pathways. Those are the 3 concrete outcomes that they'll get from participating in module 4. So they're going to shape their story of who they want to become and how they're going to get there. So with the career exploration, they're going to be exposed to real STEM roles, like from real people, real women, real stories. And I'm not just talking about people on the TV, I'm talking about people who they might see in the supermarket. You never know, right? And they're going to get to see a range of possibilities that are available to them, so that they could start making connections between what they're interested in, what their strengths are, and what careers might line up with those things. And then when it comes to the personal branding piece, they're going to be able to build their digital STEM identity. They're designing things as a part of that. They are beginning to kind of claim their voice and how they want the world to see them in the STEM light, right? As leaders. So that's a part of their personal branding. And then for the future pathways, they're basically going to chart their next steps. They're going to map out short and long-term goals. They're going to even write a letter to their future self. They're going to design really a visual pathway of where they want to grow over time with their STEM careers. And so by the end of the module, they're going to be able to say, I have a future in STEM, and I get to define what that looks like, right? That's what the outcome is, the main outcome is of module 4. So here are the lessons that sit inside of module 4. So lesson number 1 is their future ready DNA. Again, this is about them identifying their strengths and their interests and their values. So they have to identify that first to be able to see, well, which job might align with the things that I'm good at. But I have to know what the things I'm good at are and what my values are too, be able to identify those things. And then in lesson number 2, this is their building their digital STEM brand. So they're building like a simple online presence here that reflects their identity and their voice in STEM, and also their growing STEM story. And then in lesson 3, this is all about charting their lesson, their vision. This is where they design that career pathway. They're designing a career pathway map, and they're starting to imagine who they want to become in the short term and even in the long term. Then we have the STEM Shiro Spotlight with Dr. Sabrina Gonzalez Pasterski, and they get to reflect on what her story unlocks in their own story. And then lesson number 5 is the STEM Compass Summit. So they are going to share their vision. They're going to share their story, their personal brand as emerging leaders in STEM, and what their future will look like in STEM. And so within the lessons, this is just a more detailed breakdown of each lesson that's a part of module 4. right? So the foundation of this is their future ready DNA. This is again that in lesson 1. And then when they move on to lesson 2, they are building that online identity. And that's the first step in their personal branding. And then in lesson number 3, they're identifying careers that connect to what they've noticed about themselves and their strengths and their values and their interests and their possibilities. So they're really beginning to see clearly what careers line up with where I want to go. And then lesson 4, this is again with Dr. Sabrina Gonzalez Pastorsky, and they are really going to look at what her story teaches them about their own potential and their own leadership. And then in the STEM Compass Summit, this is them stepping fully into who they are becoming as a future leader in STEM. So what do they create? So here we have the artifacts that feed into that STEM Compass Summit, which is their capstone. So that future ready DNA map, it's a visual snapshot of their strengths and their values and their interests. And then that's a part of lesson 1. And then in lesson 2, they're doing a digital STEM brand. So basically like a student friendly profile where they get to express their voice and their identity. It's like the first building block of their branding. And then in lesson number 3, they're doing a STEM career pathway map. So a visual roadmap of what interests them. And then they're going to do a Shiro strength reflection. This is like a creative written response that is inspired by Dr. Sabrina Gonzalez Pastorsky's life. And they get to reflect and connect with what she's done. And then in lesson number 5, the Compass Summit. And they're bringing all of these artifacts together for their STEM Compass Summit and what they get to display about their STEM future. So they will have all of the pieces together, the brand and the map and the story. All of those things will come together by the time they get to the Compass Summit. And then the capstone again is this Compass Summit where they are going to share values and strengths and careers that excite them and their pathways to get there, and inspiration from STEM Shiros like the one in this module or ones in other modules or in other in other spaces that they may know, right? The idea is them walking away thinking that this is the future that I can visibly see for myself. And here are the steps that I'm going to take so that I can walk toward this future. And they end with the badges. They have the 5 badges for their module 4 that they get to earn within Mighty Networks platform. And then once all of that is complete, don't forget about our community question. And that community question for module 4 is going to be again in the Mighty Networks platform. And similar to previous modules, you will have your Mighty platform, you will have the student workbook, and you will have the facilitator guide. All tools, basically your power tools for this program. And that's what these are. All right, so now we are ready for a poll because I shared a lot. So let's take a quick poll so we can see where you are. You should see it pop up now. You have 4 options. So as you get ready to facilitate the modules, which area do you feel most confident about right now? Oh, some of them are kind of neck and neck. Choose the one that feels truest for you. I like that. There's more people choosing supporting the girls and reflecting and sharing ideas. It's great. Awesome. Well, I don't see anyone selecting connecting STEM learning to real world careers, and that's okay because we got lots of resources for that in the facilitator space and the resource and the resource hub. So that's okay that you're not there yet. Keyword yet. All right. Well, we done. We're done with the poll. Awesome. So poll results. We have a tie for first place with building its excitement and community and supporting girls in reflecting and sharing ideas. And then we have the guiding creative projects as number 3. This shows me that you all are more ready than you think because the qualities that stand out with the responses that you all selected are human qualities, are connection qualities, are relationship building qualities. And I think those things are the foundation for this because you have all the content. You have to have that relationship to open the door for them to even listen to you, for you to deliver the content. And you all are telling us that those skills are pretty high. So I'm glad to see it. Glad to see it. All right, we're going to jump into breakout rooms now. And so in the breakout rooms, don't worry, you're going to just go. So we're not going to assign you. You're going to just discuss the 3 questions that you see. I'm going to drop them in the chat also, so you have them so that you could look at them in the chat. But basically, I just want you to start talking about which part of the 2 modules you think your girls will connect with the most, what will help you feel ready to guide the moments of curiosity and confidence, and what's one question that you still have about facilitating these modules. And so I'm going to drop those questions in the chat, and we can give about maybe 3 minutes because I see we're at 2:50. All right. Welcome back from your breakout rooms. We are getting ready to wrap up. And so I wanted to emphasize the mighty tools to guide you. So your power tools, we have the resource hub. And in the resource hubs, there's the STEM creation station, the STEM job menu, career path cards, and Shiro spotlight. So this is where you can go to find those career resources. So back to the poll, there was zero on the career and the career question. And so all of these are resources, the Shiro profiles, the job menu, the career path cards. These are all resources to help with those career and real world connections. So I just definitely wanted to highlight those. And I also wanted to share the facilitator space. Within the facilitator space, you're going to see there is a training library, and within the training library, that's where you're going to find the module 3 and the module 4 walkthroughs, which are visible or live now, and you'll also have the facilitator guide. So basically you have all of the videos, all of the guides for the entire TechGYRLS curriculum, and that lives inside of the training library. And then inside of the resource center, even more resources for you. That's where you'll also find Dr. Rende's research that Jessica talked about earlier. And then the Q&A form would be the place that you all post those wonderful videos of implementation. So with that, I am going to pass it along to Jessica, or yep, pass it along to Jessica. But
Yes.
before I do, just say thank you to everyone that showed up, that was present, that participated. I'm super appreciative just to be a part of this dynamic program, and just this dynamic group. So I appreciate you all, and thank you for having me these past 3 sessions.
Yes. All right. I just wanted to go over a few things before we wrap up. So we are going to be looking at data collection for everyone. And so some of the things that we really want to track is attendance. No names needed. We're talking just numbers. Module tracking, like how long it's taking to complete a module and lessons. We've got pre and post surveys, which are going to be posted in the facilitator resource center. And it's going to be via Qualtrics, but we'll also have printable copies for you as well. And then we also want an evaluation at the end. So at the end of each kind of period of time that you are doing Tech Girls with a group, at the end, what did you think? What does it need? What are some things that you're seeing that you would really like to see? So we are going to be looking for some data collection. And then also giving you some upcoming like supporting documents that'll be available on January 1st. So we talked about data and you're probably thinking, well, what am I going to use? We are going to have it for you. So you don't have to worry about creating a spreadsheet, creating any of this other stuff. We're going to go ahead and provide you with a template that you can use that's going to automatically track those things for you. And so at the end, when it's how many participants did you have, you'll have that right there at your fingertip by the end of your sessions with your girls. We also have a participant media release form. We've been talking a lot about videos and pictures. And so, of course, when we're working with youth, we want to make sure that we have permission. And so we do have a media release form that was just approved today. So I am going to have that for you. Also posted by that January 1 date. And then we can go ahead and go to the next one. The last thing we really wanted to hit on is that this isn't done. We're not just going to leave you after these 3 sessions. We are not just going to kind of drop and say, okay, now we're done, go do. We want to continue the learning and we want you to be able to learn from each other. That's the most important thing is that, sites that are doing Tech Girls and implementing and sites that are maybe thinking about it or just haven't started it yet have somewhere to be together and to go. And so we're going to have facilitator support sessions, learning community sessions in the spring. They'll be every other month and just a time to get together, to ask questions. We'll look over the data collection materials in depth with you. And we also want to help provide some answers to questions like, how do I market this? How do I get a grant for this? Like, what do I do in order to make this bigger? We're going to have our Marcom team there and our development team there to support you, and we want you to share ideas. So in my follow-up email that I'm going to send, and also on the intranet, we are going to post about these. We'll have a registration link for you, and we hope that you will join us for those sessions coming up. And then just a reminder about that facilitator space. We really want you to use that space for you as facilitators, as a community to share ideas, ask questions of each other, and then just be able to use that space for what's going to be best for you moving forward. Desiree, I see your question. Access to the Mighty tools will be available test anytime. Yes. As a facilitator, you have access to all of that. We will add some additional things, but everything will be there by January 1. Honestly, my goal is a little earlier than that, but by January 1, everything will be there, and I will put an announcement in the forum as well, just to say, hey, everything is here. Here's how you find it. Any questions? And then lastly, I do just have the dates of those sessions coming up. If for some reason this 2 o'clock Eastern time, you can go and go to the next slide, doesn't work for you, let me know. Just email me at J Hopkins. We can adjust our time. That is perfectly fine. So just let me know. And then just as a reminder, we'll have all of these things in on the Mighty Networks platform in the facilitator space is training. If you know someone that wasn't able to come, it'll be there. And then just make sure to hopefully register for those sessions that are coming up in January, March, and May. All right, and then lastly, because I see it's 2:01, if you could just take a moment, I did put the link as well in the chat. If you could just fill out a quick survey for us, let us know what you need. That's really the question we love to hear from you about is what do you need? What are your next steps? How can we help you? So with that, I just want to say thank you to Dr. Singh. You've been amazing. We're excited to continue to work with you, and we hope to see all of you at our support sessions. All right, thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Bye, everyone.